I'm not laughing. I'm gonna be, dude. Once my background is set and my camera and mic and everything is like set up, and I don't have to plug it and replug it and unplug it in every fucking time. Yeah, I'm coming for you. Like I'm ever gonna catch up.
It's not about catching up.
No. Dude, the whole reason we're doing this is because I adopted a philosophy of if you can't beat him, join him.
Well, actually, so like I plugged in this bass because I was like, oh, since we don't have a recording session or something to watch, I was like, oh, it might be fun to do something musical. But you're actually going to be here in this room the next time that we film one of these.
1 week from now.
You're coming out in 6 days or something like that?
Yeah.
Who's counting?
It's going to be epic. It's
Fuck
going to
yeah, dude.
look who's counting. Look who's counting. You got it written on your calendar with love hearts?
A little
we're
bit.
so-
A little bit.
we're
Sarah's got
so
all the
gay for
dinners
each other.
planned out.
Oh my God, that's awesome. All of them? Like
No,
seven,
not all
six,
of them.
six
just the
nights of
fancy
dinners?
ones.
Okay, no, that's going to be awesome. I'm glad. I've been fasting. So I'm going to have a fucking appetite when I get there.
What fasting schedule are you doing?
At the moment, I'm doing. You know what's funny? I usually try to do like 1 meal a day. So it's basically like
Skip 1
6
meal a
on-
deal? Skip one meal
So
a
it's
day?
like 1 meal a day. Yeah, 1 meal, or I'll have 2 meals in the space of like 3 or 4 hours, and then that's it. But what I've been doing is like 2 days on, 2 days off. So I'll just have like no carbs, super healthy, and I'll just eat normally, and then 1 day, 24 hours.
Nice.
And so it's just like really hardcore and then back to normal. And then so my body's guessing more. And I nearly passed out only twice. So only twice. At the end of the day, when I was making the food, I was like, oh, I think my blood sugar's crashing. And I started to like cold sweat and have to hold onto the thing. And I'm like, yep, I pushed it a little too hard. There we go. Let's dial it back on the next one. So
That's not so bad. That's not so bad.
No,
I've
it's just
done a 72-hour fast twice, and that one sucks. Like day one, like when you do a full 24-hour fast, you're like, oh, I could keep going. Wake up the next day and realize like, oh shit, I'm not even halfway there.
right.
That second day really, really sucks. Day 3, you just can't wait to eat. But
Yeah.
that's the thing is like intermittent fasting works best when you do it intermittently. So everyone's always like, oh, I couldn't do it today. I was like, no, it's good. It's good.
Yeah,
you know?
no, and I thought about that when you spoke about it. I was like, it was funny because I called. So for anyone that doesn't know, Jayme and I talk every 5 minutes. So
Almost.
I take my son to his hip hop classes in the city. So we got a train ride for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got my Coke Zero, which is fine because that doesn't break the fast. And he gets a treat. He never gets to drink Fanta or Coke or anything. So I buy myself a Coke Zero. I buy him a Fanta because that's what he said he wants. He's got the Fanta. I've got the Coke. He has to get something out of his bag. I take the Fanta, and now I'm still holding the Fanta. And then 5 minutes later, I've forgotten I'm holding the Fanta. I take a sip of Fanta, and I call Jayme immediately and like, does 1 sip of Fanta break the fast? And he says, yeah, any more than 5 calories. I'm like, of course. The answer was like a blink, and you're like, yeah, like any more than 5 calories, you're done. You're done for the day. Just enjoy the day, man. Just have a good time.
Yeah, dude,
I was like,
go off the
fuck.
rails.
Yeah, because I was like, I had a whole plan of like how I was going to do all these things, get to dinner, make the salad good. And it's like, nah, just go and get so I just went and got a fucking quarter pounder with cheese and was like, yep, all right, I'll make up for it tomorrow. And I did.
There you go.
But yeah, this is what people think we talk about music, chord progressions.
No.
No, it's about intermittent fasting, Doom, Star Trek references, and
What else is there? I mean, that's pretty much it.
No, that's pretty much it.
So
You're
you
living the
don't think-
dream by far. People look at the back of you. You're especially with the fucking purple, the purple. You're never
My mom's
wearing just
sister.
like black. You're never wearing black rock and roll colors. There's always some girly quality to the stuff that you wear.
Because
And
girls buy me everything. My wife, my mom, my sisters-in-law. Like, yeah, that's I don't buy shit. Like I literally
we're gonna
don't
have to-
buy anything. Like
No, I
I buy
believe you.
food. We go on vacation, but like I don't drink, so like I don't spend at bars. I don't want stuff. That means to me like stuff that needs to be dusted, stuff that needs to be clean, maintenance, taken care of. Like
yeah, no, forget
throw
all
all
that.
that shit away, dude. I
Yeah.
don't want it. Which is
Yeah.
funny because I'm surrounded by stuff, but like
you didn't pay
it's
for it.
a different beast altogether. But yeah, man,
Yeah.
I don't like having stuff. So
Yeah, no, me neither. It's just more money, more problems, more stuff, more problems.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
I do have a music question for you. Behind you, there's 3 guitars.
Yep.
The middle one, does that also have the Evertune bridge that's the same that's on this one that's behind me?
The middle one, yeah. The middle one's Old Red. So Old Red is
That has a name, Old
the-
Red?
Yeah, it has it's old red because it's my oldest guitar. I started I always wanted to play that type of guitar. I always wanted to play an Epiphone, sorry, not an Epiphone. I always wanted to play an ES 335 simply because I'm 6'3", broad-shouldered, and anything that's not that guitar looks like a twig on me, right? And I didn't want to be like Ben from Breaking Benjamin is a good example. Ben is a killer songwriter, killer singer, and he's told me straight up, he's like, I don't really like playing the guitar. I'm aware of how I look. I'd rather just be the lead singer because he's so big. He's bigger than me, and his guitar just looks like a toy on him. Yeah, if you ever see them live, his guitar looks kind of funny. Dude, like it looks really small.
Look at this thing on me. This is a 6-string bass, right?
Right.
This thing is huge. Like on my, this thing's almost as it's from the ground up. Like it comes up to my over my belly button. This thing is huge. It's an extra scale bass. And anytime I see someone play like a Fender or something and it looks tiny on them, I'm always like, oh shit, that guy's tall. Because I know how big that bass is. Yeah. It looks pretty decent on me. But like when someone makes that look like a short scale, it's like, oh, God, that guy's got to be huge.
It always reminds me of that warning that they put in rear vision mirrors: objects may be closer than they appear. It really puts things into perspective.
Yeah,
like when you and people were always surprised at me. This is the funniest thing, right? When my band first started, and I was just playing a Strat or a Les Paul, and people would meet me and they'd be like, "Yeah, whatever. We saw you on stage." Then I started playing the 335 and they'd see me in a photo or a video or on stage. And then they'd meet me at the merch desk or they'd meet me at the radio station and they'd go, "My God, you're so tall." I'm like, "Yeah, because I'm in proportion now." Like when you see me regularly, you're like, "Oh yeah, he's just whatever." So that I don't look tall, there's no preconception. But then they'd meet me and they'd go, "You're so much taller than I thought you'd be." So it does actually subliminally make a big difference. And you don't want people to look at you and think about anything other than you're present. You're like, you don't want them to be like, "Oh, he looks awkward. He looks different, weird, whatever." Or "I would change this. I wish his guitar should be bigger." You just want them to be like, "Yeah, he's rocking. I'm in the moment with him. Good to go." So the truth is, a hollow body 335 without really specific sound suppression and a gate pedal and stuff like that, it's a horrible guitar to play for heavy rock music. Yeah. It's a feedback machine. And I used to literally
Every
have
stage
to rehearse.
We played on together.
Yeah. I used to have to rehearse before I understood that you could get a noise suppressor pedal. It took me years before I knew what a noise suppressor pedal was.
Just to get rid of
and yeah, it's a really annoying fucking sound, right? And I used to plan and rehearse my kill switch moments. So I would wind down the volume on the bridge pick on the neck pickup. And I would do the Tom Morello thing where it was that he would
roll down the way that
switch. He would roll down the volume switch, and then you have what's called a pickup selector, and it would select between the bridge pickup and the neck pickup. So it would turn. It's like turning it on and off. You turn the guitar on and off, on off, on off. So whenever you hear Tom Morello going dit, 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 like Morse code, it's that effect. I'm ripping him off, but then I'm realizing, I can just, as soon as I stop playing for even a quarter note, I'll just flick the switch down and then I'll flick it back up before I start playing. And I would mute myself hundreds of times per set because there was a dozen changes in every song. And I had it down to a fine art. And then some other guitar player in the support band was like, "Oh, is that why you do that?" "I just have a pedal, fucker."
I
had no idea you could do that.
For real, like that's one thing when I think about this generation and even us, like, when we were kids, there was no YouTube, right? There was no internet to go and see how things were done. So you just had to figure out a way to do it. And so you knew the sound. You heard Kill Switch and Gauge records. You're like, "Fuck, how are they doing that?" Well, must be. I don't have a switch. I would have to do it with my volume knob or get a volume pedal. And I knew guitar players that would do that. Dun dun dun, dun dun dun, dun dun. You know what I mean? Like playing metal stuff. And like you just adapt. You figure out a way to do it. And then you see the video where someone comes up to you like, "Hey, how can you do it that way?" You're like, "Oh, I've been doing it wrong."
Because I didn't know.
But that was like a new technique. That was a new thing. That was something you developed, and it was a way that you solved the problem. And that's something that you don't get to do retroactively. When you start from, well, here's the right way to do it, now you don't get that path of discovery. And it's not like that's the greatest thing in the world anyways, but it's just like that is completely gone. I remember there's a bass player named Steve Bailey. He's now the bass department chair at Berkeley. And him and Victor Wooten are best friends. And he was talking about how he grew up in the 60s and 70s, and he heard this Stanley Clarke record that was like, how the hell is he playing this bass line? Right? And so he sat there all day long practicing, doing this thing. And Stanley's doing it on a double bass, and there's no TV. And you could only see what they were doing when they came to town and they played a show in your venue,
shit.
right? So he's listening to these records and he's hearing like, how is he playing?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's too fast, right? Sees him in concert. You want to know what Stanley did? But Steve was like, dude, I sat in my fucking bedroom for 10 hours a day for years, just going, right? And it's like, well, that was that all that practice, all that fingerboard. When you watch him play, you're like, damn, that guy knows his neck.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't if he saw Stanley do that. I mean, all those hours of practice would have been down, just not happened. And it's like, well, okay, waste of time, sure. But also, like, he got something technical and practical from it too, and musical. And you don't get that when you just have people spoon feeding you. Here's the best. Here's the right. I always tell brand new students, just get a shoebox with a speaker in it and any guitar, any bass. Like, it doesn't matter. Don't get a nice one. Please don't get a nice one. You need to learn how much yours sucks so that you know what the next one's supposed to be. You know what I mean? But if you start off with great, you don't know what sucks is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I had the same thing. The first guitar that I bought, I used to have I always tell this story about learning. Can you still hear me okay?
Yeah.
Same volume? Great.
Yep.
I used to have this story that I would tell about how I learned how to play guitar, because I became a very good rhythm guitar player because I just copied rhythm guitar from Green Day, Silverchair, Nirvana, whatever. And after you do it for 10,000 hours, you can play rhythm guitar. Never learned lead. And the way that I learned guitar is that I walked down a very steep hill from my house to a guy who taught guitar out of his second bedroom. And he sold like knockoff bootleg. He had a couple of guitars that he would sell to students, and just another way to make a little profit or whatever.
Yeah, of course.
So I just bought this guitar that was a knockoff called Rock Axe, and it's a Les Paul knockoff. Great.
AXE.
Yeah, Rock Axe. That was what it was called. That was the brand, right?
Excellent.
And so I buy that, and I had it for years. And I got to the point where I had enough money to buy an Epiphone 335 and it would have cost like $800. And I chose not to buy it because and people would say like, why are you still playing that piece of shit? You're doing band competitions with this knick-knacky shitty guitar. And we know you could probably, like, it's been years. And I told them, I used to say, I haven't earned it yet. And I would say like, good guitar players play good guitars. I'm a bad guitar player. Then when it got to, I'm an average guitar player. This is an average guitar. That's about fair.
Well, it's the one
when
I
get
deserve,
to the when I get to the point where I'm really like, all I'm going to do is sound average on a great guitar. Fuck that. Like when I get to the point where I really need the guitar, but otherwise it's not going to make any difference. It's not going to make any difference.
Yeah.
So, and eventually a few years later, got it, went and bought the guitar, and then eventually upgraded to Old Red. And then I stuck with that because that's like, Gibson 335, great. It's an official one. I don't need another guitar. I only ever toured with one guitar and a backup. I fucking hate guitars. I don't care about guitars. People are always shocked and they're like, how many guitars do you have? 2 electrics, 2 acoustics, maybe. And then anything else has been like gifted. Why would I buy more? I'm not a guitar player. I'm a songwriter. I'm a singer. I sing songs. Guitar is required. I only play well enough to play my songs. I can't solo. When I do, I play jazz.
I heard you doing lots of solos last year. You were soloing every night.
Yeah, but how many bum notes were in every solo?
Every solo, yeah.
Every solo, right? Yeah, solo is the loosest term when it comes to me, right? And I would like to, honestly, I'd love to get to the point where I could say like, hey, I've got 3 months free. I'm going to spend 2 hours a day jamming to blues, but I don't have the time to sit there and do that right now. I'm happy with what I got, all good things. But going back to what you said before, and then I want to get into some specific questions from the Facebook stuff that we posted.
That's a good idea.
So, do you have it? You've got some from your cats as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that I tell everyone, like if you're telling like a student, buy a shoebox guitar, something that sounds crappy, learn how to sound good on crap, because then you sound good. You're working on you.
That's
right?
not exactly what I mean, but yes, you can derive. You can take that
what
from
exactly?
it.
What exactly do you mean?
What I mean is more along the lines of it doesn't matter. Get something That's the important part. Start working on it, start having fun, and then learn what the limitations are. Because then you'll learn, like, man, this guitar is so hard to play, I need a new one. And someone will be like, no, your action's too high. Just lower your strings. You're like, oh, that makes a difference. And you could think like, oh, I need a synth pedal, Like, oh no, if I just go up here and I crank the shit out of my bass knob, like, oh, I don't need a synth pedal. I can actually get that. I can get that sound just by moving my hand up, playing really delicate and not digging in on the strings. So like whatever you have, you learn what it can do, what it can't do. You push it to its limits. And then you're like, I need a shred stick. I need something thicker. I need that telly, twangy. Like you start to learn what's missing when like you've pushed the limits of what yours can do. And you're like, oh, I'm a Les Paul guy. I'm a Strat guy. I'm a this, I'm a that. But at the beginning, when they're like, hey, what should I get? A Les Paul or a SG or what? You're like, I could tell you, but you're going to change your mind. You won't know until you really get in there and you start playing and you're like, dude, I love this Hendrix stuff. Why is my Gibson not doing it? Like, duh, get a Strat, dummy, because that's the sound you like. And like, no, but you don't know that in the beginning.
What you're talking about is that people teach themselves problem solving through that type of adversity. And if you don't, you never even look at it and go, oh, this is a problem that can be solved. How do I?
Or you just learn to pay to fix it. Yeah, which is great for people like me because I was going to say
it's great for us.
But for the student or for the best thing for you to do, put your head down, try to figure it out. And even if you figure it out wrong, good. You might discover something awesome. You might write a new song. You know what I mean? You're just trying to learn brain stew and you wrote Riptide. Yeah, I know that's not the story of how it happened, but you know what I mean.
But I would believe that if I heard that. That's hilarious. But no, I always think about Zeppelin and Bowie when you go back to the records and you go like, oh, I can hear that they created that sound. It's kind of almost fully formed. It's a synth thing, or it's a new synthesizer that's trying to emulate strings. And then you go to your plug-in patches 2025 and you go like, oh yeah, they figured it out.
Yeah.
And then you go, yeah, I could push a button and I could have the thing that Bowie probably goes like, oh, one day it'll be like this. But we never get to have that exploratory experience of, I don't even know what I'm looking for exactly. I'm just going to start trying ideas.
Yeah.
And then you explore. It's the equivalent of like Columbus before he found where he was going to land, or it's like you're really going, you don't know where you're going to go. And now I find it one of the reasons. I was talking to my dad yesterday because we were talking about working on the musical that he's working on, and he's working in Logic, and then Suno's got a thing where maybe you can integrate AI stems and stuff. And he said, "You still working in Pro Tools, right?" And I said, "Yes, I am an old man and I'm proud of it. I don't give a fuck, right?" And the more I think about it, I'm like, why would I want to learn? And I can learn anything. I can do anything. It's a matter of choices now, right? Do I want to spend however many dozens of hours to get the layout and then work on it for however many hundreds of hours to have it become habit and unconscious? Or do I just keep working in Pro Tools because it's like flow? And when I work in Pro Tools, the good thing is there's not as many hotkeys. There's not as many immediate fixes as in Logic, right? In Logic, there's so many plugins and things now that can automatically fix things. And I've found that every time that I figure out a hotkey or a plugin that just fixes everything immediately, snap your fingers, immediately my guitar, my vocal, whatever it is, sounds like everything else.
Yeah.
And that's really good sometimes. But if I try to do a track quickly, it loses all of my vibe, my personality, my voice, all of the tiny little nuances, the little things that really make me go like, oh yeah, that's what I'm proud of. That's my voice. That's my style. I spent
a
filter's
been put on you. It's the same as like taking pictures with a filter on. It's like, well, yeah, we can't see the bags under your eyes because, well, they fixed it. They ran a filter over it. And we're like, well, but that's not you anymore. It's not your face.
Yeah, well, that's all well and good. But when I think about it, I look at it and go, I spent 20 years learning how to get my personality into my music. It took a lot of time and energy and mistakes and pain and ego, up and down with ego of like, and to be like, yeah, I can do this. It takes me longer. Mm-hmm. I have to sit there and do the work the way that I do it, the way that I know how to pull out my personality and create something so that it sounds like me. And some people may hear it and go like, man, just make it sound like Nickelback or Ice Nine Kills with the massive wall of sound. Just do that. And I'm like, you could. And I prefer it when it sounds like that. Okay, cool. I'm not making it for you then, because you already have that.
Right.
There is other bands that can sound like a smashed wall of kick bass guitars. It just doesn't work. And so, but I think honestly, dude, I have seen so many more people complain, even younger people. Yeah, I know a couple of teenagers that are friends of friends, and they're saying like, yeah, you know, I see these things. I've seen a lot of AI stuff coming up, AI music, AI images or whatever, and they don't crap on it. They don't sit there and have a judgment. They literally just say, I just don't like it. It's just, it's all the same. I've seen it. I've seen that. I can see when it's AI.
Yeah.
I'm just not really interested in it. And my favorite thing to talk about when it comes to AI is the one thing that no one else seems to want it. No one seems to talk about it. They talk about it from fear. They talk about it from progress. And also they talk about it from the buzzwords that are going to get you to click on a YouTube video or something.
Yeah.
But they're like, is AI music going to destroy? Okay, look, if you just want background music, your career is over. AI is going to beat you.
Yeah,
if you just
sync
want
music,
something,
for sure.
Sync music. And if you want something specifically that sounds like something else, and you just want to listen to that over and over and over again, great. The reason is, and this is the thing, no one says this. You're not looking for an experience. Great. You're not looking for an experience. You're looking for more of the same or background music. You're not looking to have a human experience or go on any sort of emotional experience. And so that's the thing. AI music is machine-based. It takes you on something that doesn't have a human experience. Cool. But there are lots and lots of people who want to have a human experience that are starting to see, I'm not feeling anything when I interact with the AI-generated stuff. And also the other thing that's even further down the rabbit hole that people aren't talking about is no one is continually making AI-generated content for joy. They make it for money if they hit a cash cow, or they try to make some money off it, fail, and then stop, right? So the joy of creating with AI is only if you have a real idea that's human, that's emotional, that's got all the artistic human stuff, and then you use AI like an assistant to help you finish the product.
And
but
anyone who uses it knows that that's the case. You
Yeah.
know, like it only gets you 80% of the way there at best. And is it gonna close the gap more and more? Sure, I have no doubts of that. But it can only copy, right? It'll never be able to advance. In other words, it can't cure a disease that we don't know is a disease yet. It'll cure cancer, but that one thing that's been killing like 10 people a year, we don't even know what it is. Like, well, it can't cure that because it doesn't even know. It doesn't know what that is. It can't. It can only know what there's research and data and things on, right? So it's emulating and copying people that exist already, right? It ain't copying me. Well, maybe it is, but you know, like the more unique you are, well, the less it's gonna sound like you, obviously, because it's trained to sound like the biggest things out there, like everyone else. So if you sound like Michael Jackson, yeah, you're probably screwed, you know. But if you're unique, if you're an individual, if you're searching for a sound that doesn't exist yet, like I don't want to say you're safe, but at least for now you are, because AI literally can't do that job yet. You know, it's not trailblazing. It's just following behind really, really fast, you know? But, yeah, I mean, I don't look at it like some people are safe, some people aren't. I think like, yeah, if you're original and you're into using tools to help you go faster, AI is going to be a blessing, you know? And if you had nothing going on and you think this is going to be your big ticket, some people aren't, like winning the lottery. Some people win it, but it probably won't be you. It won't be most of the people that use it.
Well, it's just the way that I look at it. I'm surprised when I talk to anyone who's like going to music college now, like these teenagers. There's a couple of guys who 16 and 19. One of them's doing music in high school. The other one just started going to college, right, for music. And I asked him like, well, are you using AI for any music stuff? And he said, no, I'm paying attention to it, but I don't use it. I said, well, why are you still doing this when you know that it's going to replace? And they just go like, because I want to. Because I like making music, because I like hanging with people and making music, and I like to work on a piece of music, and then at the end of the day, there's something that I made, and I made it, and I had the process. The process is the purpose of music. And I heard like some philosopher guy that I listen to sometimes, and he was saying, yeah, you don't play a piece of music to get to the end, you play it because you play it. You know, it's not about the AI is about getting to an end result. Cool. if the end result is, if that makes sense. But no one seems to be talking about like the process. The process of typing in a prompt and pushing a button is not a process. That's not an artistic process. You don't get any joy out of it. Cool. Which is why it's fun working on the stuff that we work on.
Well, and I think it's literally the same as like you could play NFL 2K25 or NBA, but you'd rather go play basketball. You'd rather go throw a ball at your friend. He catches it, dunks it, throws it back. Like, I mean, it's not to say no one plays sports games on PlayStation or Xbox, but like, yeah, you would rather go play on it. People don't stop playing sports just because there's sports video games. You know, like, yeah, they're always going to want to go do the thing because it's fun to run and jump and fucking hit things. It's so cool when you hit, boom, you're like, yes, do it again. You're never going to, like you say, the experience, the human touch. Like, I don't know what it is. We like to run and jump and hit things. So we should. Why not? I see you looking through your phone. Are you looking for those?
That's exactly what I'm doing, and I just found a couple. So, but thank you for noticing. That means everyone else did too. Yeah, but I have a question. Pivot off. I'm assuming that you don't consciously realize that you're doing this on the couch.
No, I do. Yeah, I do this at all times.
But do you notice when you're doing it?
Yeah. Do you know what I'm doing?
Okay, so you're finger picking.
Yeah, down, up, pluck. Yeah. Is it picking up on the microphone?
No, I noticed I do it. I do it like this though, right? So check it out. This is what I do. And it's not finger picking. It's drums. Right. So this is the ring fingers kick. This is
I thought you meant drumsticks, like you were manipulating. No, you're doing drum beats.
No. This is the weirdest thing. Like this is this finger's kick, this is snare, this is rim shot. Right? So it's like and I can do it with my teeth as well. I make beats with my teeth.
Yeah, me too. I do.
Yeah. I wonder if you can hear it.
Nah, it's getting.
Anyone tuning into the podcast at this moment is going to be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, my dentist. Every time they look like, "Do you need a mouth guard? Do you roll your grind your teeth at night?" They all think I'm like, "No." That's how I keep time when I play because you can't tap your foot on stage. I'm a classical musician, so you get kicked the fuck out if you tap your foot, right? So you have to keep time somehow.
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah, I just bite,
Yeah, musicians have got some of the weirdest quirks. Okay, we're going to pivot over to a question. This is an interesting one, okay? So this isn't a music question, but I'm actually very fascinated what your answer is.
Hold on, where did these questions come from?
These are from my Facebook page, and this one's coming from Joshua Lane.
All right, Joshua, what's up?
So I basically put up a post, and we're going to be doing this regularly. I put up a post to my fans that just said, if you could ask me any music-related question, what would it be? Got a bunch of questions. We're going to be moving this over soon to the people who are patrons once the Patreon is launched. But at the moment, Joshua Lane, and this is going to be interesting. If you had the chance with one wish, would you do it all? Would you do it all over again on the same path, or would you pass on the wish?
Okay, hold on. Before you answer that, I think you need to ask it again. One more time. Ask the question. Are we going to
get copyright strike? If you had the chance with one wish, would you do it all over again on the same path, or would you pass it on? I wish I could do it in time. I could rap that whole song.
Well, we can't do it because we'll
do it next week.
Yeah, you're whatchamacallit, the latency between us. Because you're in Australia and I'm in Las Vegas, but next week you'll be here. Maybe we'll have a drummer. That'd be sick. That's how we do Q&A. Right? Yeah. Like we have to turn the question into a song somehow and sing the answer. That's the stupidest thing I've ever thought of. But we'll get there.
That's a great idea.
At some point we'll get there. That would be so cool.
I love that we come up with half of these ideas live on the podcast so people can look back and go, we'll clip it and people go like, they thought that was a good idea. Some of them are going to be great guys. Some of them are going to be train wrecks, but you'll see everything.
And here's the thing. A lot of our ideas, we just throw them out and then we never get to them. The feedback when they're like, hey, when are you guys going to start? Like, that's when we'll know, like, oh, let's actually do that one.
Yeah. But no, seriously, now I want to, if you had a chance with one wish, would you do it all over again on the same path? Would you do your life over again or would you change things?
Nah, same. I'm a no regrets, none. Not a single thing I would change.
Yeah.
I definitely, much the same way. Like, I wish some things, like I wish I didn't go to college and get a music degree because I just know
Dude,
that
that's
that's not
huge.
something someone needs to do. And when I think
Right.
of it, it's like, I would not recommend that to someone. So it sounds like a bad idea and I shouldn't have done it. But then when I think of all the friends I met, all the things I learned, all the pieces I've played, and all the stuff I take from that world and apply to, that's what built this whole thing. It's like, I obviously, like, I don't think of anything as a mistake, but it's like, I wouldn't do that today. And I would not advise someone to do that today unless it's paid for and I really want to be a collegiate professor or a Philharmonic musician. There are reasons why, yeah, go to school, get the degree. You need the paper in order to do that. But 99.99999% of everyone else, don't do it. Don't do that to yourself. And definitely don't take out student loans to do it. I didn't. But that's a conversation for another time.
Yeah,
But so that's the
student loans,
only
yeah.
thing. The only thing I'm like, I wish I didn't do that, but it's okay because I redeemed it. I made it
Yeah.
out fine. But I know a lot of people who didn't.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Yeah, I'm a no regrets guy as well, simply because, not because there aren't things that I wish I can go back and look at it and go, I wish I'd done this differently. But if I could choose to go back, this is probably the defining thing. There are times when I look back at it and I say, if I'd done this differently, things would have been easier or better. But then my next thought is, I can honestly say I did the best with what I had to work with at that time. I was only 21. I was only 15. I was only 21. I didn't know any of this stuff. And then luckily that gets the next step in the thought process is, I am who I am now because of all of that stuff. And I really like who I am now. I'm really proud of who I am now. And I'm still not fully formed.
You're growing on me, dude. Yeah, it's great. Keep going.
So if I'm like, I think about this stuff sometimes when it's like, well, if I'm halfway through and I've learned all the things that I've learned and I still have another 40 years plus left, God willing, what's going to come next? Like what else could be on the horizon, considering that I'm not what you just talked about, get a degree, get a job for 40 years, retire. And my life is not planned out. I have chapters. And so far, I have evidence that every chapter that I've written has played out exactly how I wrote it down. At the beginning, I realized I should have been more specific in what I wrote down. And that's what I learned. I'm serious. I'm 100% serious. Like if you had, like you went to music college because at the time your parents and the world and everything around you was like, yeah, this is what you should do. And you agreed and you went, that makes sense at the time. I'm going to do that because that seems like the right move. And then, but you look at it, and if you had written down more specifics of like, do I want to work in a college or a professor and do those things? No, I don't. Okay, if you had extrapolated it with the knowledge you have now of how to achieve goals, you probably would have made different decisions. But
it's not only that; it's also the internet, right? There was no YouTube. YouTube came out after I graduated college, right? In terms of the information, where did you go to find the information on an E minor pentatonic? Very few places. I'm not saying like it didn't exist, but like you went to a music store and you bought a book, or you went to a music teacher, or you went to a music school. That's it. You're not going to find it in your pocket. Right? Yeah. Whereas now you can just, hey, what does pentatonic mean? And here's everything you ever need to know about all of it. You know, that didn't exist, And so that's the other thing. You can't foresee technologies, tragedies, illnesses. You can't foresee any of it, and all of them form you into who you are. I really wish my wife didn't have stage 4 cancer in 2015. But we went through it, and here we are today. And I've counseled and guided like 3 people through their cancer journeys with their wives, themselves, with their children. And it's like, I'm unfortunately the first guy you call. When you find out you have cancer or you call me and you go, man, what do I do? And I go, fuck, I hate this club, but I'm gonna get you through it. I'm gonna get you through it. I promise you. I'll do everything I can. And that's what you can only people that have been burned like this know what that scar feels like. And that's our burden for the rest of time. We have to, like I feel that's the you call us musicianaries. And they're like, yeah, that's what we are. We go around and we spread the word. What is the word? The word is the song. The word is the music. It's in there, and that's the best thing that we have to offer. And we're just here to help out.
Did I make that up?
You did.
I forgot about that.
I don't know if you made it up. You told me about it. And I was like, shit.
No,
dude,
I think I made it up based off someone else had a something else Aries. Visionaries, mercenaries, I came up with it. I forget. It was on the
Missionaries, right?
Yeah. It was on the tour, not tour from last year.
Yeah.
But no, I want to pivot for 1 second because I know you talk about this. You've talked about this and you've made posts about this. The number one question that I get asked, the most common question that I get asked, I want to know what's the most interesting, not the most common, but the most interesting question you've ever been asked about music that actually made you go, oh shit, I never really thought about it, or you're fucked up for asking that question. Like something that made you kind of tweak over, and because I know you and you're a teacher and also you're very knowledgeable. So usually if you know the answer to something, you rattle it off quickly, concisely, clearly. What's a question that made you go, oh shit, I never thought about that stuff?
I don't know about a question, but I know an answer that does that.
Mhm.
When I've taught tens of thousands of children, I've taught tens of thousands of music students in person. And when they come in, the first day, we always ask them, like, hey, what's, why the guitar? Why are you here? What do you want to learn? What are you into? That's usually one of the first questions you ask. And if you're a drummer, I know why. You don't have to answer. You like to hit shit. Everyone does. Why do you want to be a guitar player? Of course. Why do you want to be a singer? I want girls. Like, there's no, whatever you say. Yeah, I've heard it before. Except the bass players. You get a 7-year-old, 8-year-old kid, 9-year-old girl. She's like, yeah, I want to play bass. And she comes in with a Fender Mustang bass. You're like, what? Why bass? What is it? Because I understand if you're 17 or 15 and your friends are starting a band and you want to join, but you don't play anything. Like, well, everything's taken except bass, and it's easier than guitar. Okay, like that's the one thing that gets most of us in, right?
Yeah.
But 8-year-olds don't do that. So when a kid comes in, they're just like, I just love what the low end does in the mix, and when it changes and the chords just sound different. They're talking about inversions. They're talking about groove and pocket. They don't know. They haven't heard anything, but I don't know. It's calling to me. I'm just like, yeah, man, I heard it too. When I was 7, it called to me. I can't answer it. I love piano. I love drums. I love playing all the instruments. But when I sit down to a bass, it's like just an extension of my soul. I don't have to think about it. Why is that? I don't know. But I don't feel that connection with any other instrument, even though I think they're cool. And bass players in particular, like, it's not the girls, it's not the spotlight, it's not because it's the coolest instrument. There's just something like, man.
One thing I have noticed, one unique quality that I have seen in more in bass players is that bass players, and I'm fascinated on your opinion on this, more than not, bass players, in my experience, are very concerned with other people's respect.
Sure.
They want respect. Singers they're like, I want you to think I'm
great.
What is it?
Okay, Anthony Wellington told me this. He was Victor Wooten's bass player for like 5 years when Victor had 2 bass players in the band. And he said, the bass player is the dumbest one in the band. Everyone thinks you're the dumbest one, to the extent that when he's talking to everyone else, he'll give them different instructions. When he looks at you, he'll go, okay, G, C, E, D. He'll be like, hey, fuckhead, I know it's E minor and C major and G major. If you're talking to a keyboard player or a guitar player, you would say G, C, E minor. Why didn't you say E minor to me? You just said E. Right? And I heard Anthony say that, and I was like, yeah, you're right, dude. Everyone talks to us like we're fucking stupid. Right? Because they just assume, oh, you don't know what that means, or you don't need to know what that means.
Because you're not a fucking.
You don't need to know that.
And you got the donk, donk, donk.
You just play the root. You just
play
the root, and you let it ring out, and that's all you have to do. That's all you know how to do, probably. So he was just like, the bass player is the dumbest one in the band. So go out of your way to not be. And I was like, yeah, I want everyone to think I'm the smartest one in the band. So most ensembles I'm in, like, yeah, you come to me for the answers, even though I might not be the music director, because it's like, well, yeah, he knows, That's usually not the bass player. It's usually the piano player,
That's that makes so much sense. It never occurred to me why. And I didn't think about it in terms of like people think you're the dumb one, but it's more like the bass players usually have the least personality, they have the least persona.
Yeah.
Guitar players, soloists, you're like, yeah, Slash or whatever, Hendrix. Singers are singers, drummers are smashing the shit out of stuff, so you see them moving around. Bass players are very, there's a handful of bass players that you can name that have a style and look that are rock stars, and then the rest of them, it's like, yeah, I think he plays in Paramore. Like, you don't know what the fucking, like, Paramore's a great band, but you think of the drummer and the singer, and that's pretty much it. And like, you don't think, and whoever the bass player is for Paramore, you're
Justin
great.
Meldo Johnson did their couple records ago. He was Beck's bass player.
My favorite one was Coldplay. Coldplay, that was the funniest one. Coldplay was the drummer from Coldplay had a guest spot in Game of Thrones.
No shit.
Right? Yeah. And the funniest thing was there was a comedian that was doing a section and it was like, did you know that the drummer from Coldplay was in Game of Thrones? And they were like, oh, and he said, yeah, you know why? Because he's the drummer from Coldplay. No one knows what the fucking drummer from Coldplay looks like. Like, even when you watch the music video, you're like, oh, that's that guy? Like, no, it's Chris Martin, and that's literally it. Like, the other guys can walk down the street and do whatever, no big deal. But here's my final question on this that I'm fascinated about. Everyone knows singer's got an ego. Most guitar players have got a different distorted version of ego. Drummers want to get laid. These are most things, okay? In terms of you now, right? Would you, if you had to be self-reflective, would you say you have an ego? And if so, where does it come from?
Bass players or me?
No, not bass players, you.
Me, my ego, like, I don't know if this counts, but I think this is the reason why I'm a bass player. Like, I do have a theory for, like, why does the 8-year-old kid gravitate towards the bass? I think it's because we are natural glue. You know what I mean? Like, what does the bass do in the ensemble? It makes sense between drums and guitar, because guitar on its own doesn't make fucking sense. Drums on its own, put the two together, and you're like, something's missing. Glue it with some and all of a sudden you're like, hey, there's a band. It's a rock band. It sounds like a rock band. Take it out and you're like, well, it's White Stripes. I mean, but something's missing. Something's gone. So the bass is what makes it all make sense. It what glues it together. And yeah, we do other shit too. But like, the gist of it is we make everything gel in the song. And so I think the best bass players are people who do that in their personal lives. You know, when things are getting loud and whatever, like, they're the ones who kind of like bring the temperature down and keep everyone from, you know, when we're drinking too much and we're talking religion and politics, like, hey, let's simmer. Nobody wants to get hurt here. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we are. We regulate, we slow down, we glue together, and we just want everything to go like this, because it naturally doesn't do that. Hi-hats and snares and kicks don't blend with la la la, and it needs something to give it context and hold it all together. You know what I mean? So that's what the instrument does, and I feel like that's me in a nutshell, like my personality. You know, but that doesn't answer my question. I don't know, like, what that has to do with ego, but like that's what I'm thinking. You know, like, that's my position, that's my persona, is how can I make this the best in gel and everyone happy? You know, so I don't know if that counts as ego, but like that's what a bass does, and that's what I do.
No, the fact that you don't know is hilarious. Here's the thing. Okay, let me try and I'll ask the question in a different way, because I think people will get value from this, and I'm personally quite curious.
Please.
You achieve things, right? You exist, you look outside yourself and you go, if I put this, and this together, it'll make a new thing, right? Everyone can relate to that in one form or fashion, whether it's a big thing, a little thing, whatever it means to you. But the thing that drives people to create things is some form of ego. I want to create that and be the person who created that thing. I want to see that thing for whatever reason. I want to see that thing, right? It doesn't need to be like an egotistical negative thing. But the reason, if you didn't need to make anything and you didn't need to have an impact on the world or make a gift for someone else or whatever the reason is, there's that you'd be the most humble. That's what monks do. Like, you live in a cave and you live off water off a leaf, and you don't do or create anything, and you be totally at one. Everything is one. Everything is pure. I don't need to make or create anything. I am one with the surroundings. Human frontal cortex, ego. I want to make something. I want to make a thing. It's not good enough. I'm going to make a thing so it's better, right? It all comes from this weird little thing called the ego. You make things at a pretty high level. You continue to make things at a high level. You look at everything and go, I wonder if I could make that better. I wonder what would happen if this happened. I wonder if I did this. I want to know what drives that mindset. Why do you make the things that you make?
Easy. I love to play. No.
You're playing guitar and playing music and stuff, but you're talking about you create a YouTube channel, you create the lessons,
that's
you
playing.
create.
That's playing. I'm playing some ridiculous game. It's all a game to me. I'm just playing.
Right.
For me, it all comes from the same place. Like, why music? Because music is playing. Children know how to play really, really well. Adults, we kind of forget. And when you hand us an instrument, it's like, what key are we in? What fucking key are we in? Play means the floor is lava, right? Like everyone knows how to play the floor is lava, right? Like I shot you, I'm made of metal. No, you missed, right? Like kids, they don't need help. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get rid of all these fucking pillows. The kids don't need help with playing, right? And so musically, it's very similar. Drummer start playing something, bass player reacts, singer start singing something. Like just play. And we'll see what comes from it. If it's something great and cool. If not, then it was fun. And I look at everything through that same exact lens. I'm just fucking with it. I'm just tweaking it. Wouldn't it be cool if that would ha? And if it doesn't ha, I throw it away and I move on to the next. You know, but it really is nothing more than just, I'm playing. I'm trying to have fun, trying to have a good time. Because that's what music is, you know? Music is good. Blank. What's the blank? That's my question for you. What is music? Can you define it? Music is. What is it to you?
Music is fun.
Yeah, that's the answer. Fun, cool, awesome.
I didn't used to define. This is why I wanted to talk to you about this real quick, because I kind of knew the answer, but I wanted to frame it in a way that everyone would be a little bit surprised. They're like, oh, I want to prove my parents right. I want to dominate. I want to be better than the other guy. That's why most people do things.
Right.
And I say things because I'm like, most people make songs. Well, maybe you don't write songs. Or most people go and get a degree or whatever it is. We're all doing things. Very rarely do you meet someone that's like, I don't do things. I just sit here and I make enough money for food and sometimes those people are fascinating and most of the time they're fucking boring. But this idea of doing things literally for the sake of doing them because it's fun. Right. And we've talked about it several times when I was working on some music that's replicating old songs and I'm like, yeah, I've already done this. And you just went, yeah, you should do more things that make you happy. The same way that when I came over to your place and you had a big YouTube studio and I said, why do you do this? And it rocked you for a week.
Yeah. Like, that's the question of why. And at that point in time, I didn't know why. I really was just like, if you build it, they will come. That was kind of, who are they and why are you, I don't know. It sounds good. You know, I didn't have a why until not recently. The lockdown definitely put things in perspective. But yeah, music is fun. And if you have any other word that's not fun, awesome, exciting, incredible, beautiful, you know, if it's like music is practice, music is work, music is a job, music is to be respected. I don't know, anything else, you're doing it wrong.
I think one of the worst ones is when people say that music is, because I have a catchphrase in the courses that I do. Whenever I coach people about songwriting, performance, singing, presenting themselves to the world in some way. That's what they're doing when they write songs and they're trying to be artistic. And I always say, you're not special, you're unique. And people always get a weird moment with their brain when they're like, yeah, I've been told that I'm special or I've been told that I'm not special, but there's this special, there's a branding, there's an awareness, there's an association with people. Some people are special and some people aren't. And no one's special, everyone's unique. And when you look at it that way and you go, okay, I forget what my point was. I totally forgot.
Special, unique. It's what you end.
Special and unique, but what you've been in terms of people place this special emphasis on the creation of music and the things that they do. And so you go, music is. What is music? Oh, music is art. Music is life. Music is connection. It's music is the language of love. Right? It's pretty, I mean, that means that if I pick up a guitar and it's not art or the language of love, I'm failing.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah. And that's a lot of pressure to put on a 7-year-old kid to be like, what is music? Well, let me tell you a thing or two about a thing or two. Music is no. And
there's prerequisites. You have to know a thing or two beforehand. Whereas the floor is lava, what do you got to know?
Yeah.
Cops and robbers, you got to know shit, right? Whose team are you on? Doesn't matter. Like watch kids play. They figure it out. They just figure it out, you know, like it's
that's
the same
definitely,
thing.
And that's one of the things with presets. Like that's the thing that gets lost along with the preset mode and the plugins. It's like, no, I'm looking for, or I need something to make. It's all prerequisites. It's all end product. It's not exploratory. It's not, I don't know. God forbid someone says, I don't know. One of the best pieces of advice you gave me, you said, I learned a long time ago, I don't know is a perfectly good answer.
Yeah.
I started saying it to my own kids, and it's made my relationship with my kids better because they'll say like, Daddy, why is this like this? And I'll go, I don't know. I don't know. We can look it up now or we can find out later, but I don't know. And so sometimes we look it up, or sometimes they're like, "No, I'm not that interested. I just saw it and I was wondering." But I don't feel years earlier. I need to go and why don't I know? Why don't I know? My child asked me about why some fucking random science question or like 40. Why, by the way, why is four spelled Four and 40 spelled Forty? Why is that the case?
Not a linguist, I can tell you.
Because I felt like a fucking idiot last night when I was doing the, and it's on an iPad and it tells you immediately if you get the answer wrong. And it went, and I'm looking at it like your iPad's broken. And he said, "No, Daddy, 40, they take out the U." And I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, Dad, don't you remember? You told me that 2 weeks ago." I was like, "Fuck me."
Yeah, those guys are always listening, man. They
Dude,
pick up
it was
everything.
crazy. But yeah, so coming back to the point that we're making, I think that in general, there is a huge, I see it with my kids, with my everyone is like, why am I doing this thing? Well, I want to get to here. I want to achieve this thing. I just recently got to a point where I'm like, I started saying no to a lot of things. People are, one of the things, when are you releasing new music? Or why aren't you really? Why haven't you got a deal? Why aren't you going on tour with this? I'm like, the answer is no, because I don't want to. Why? Well, we could talk about it, but the bottom line is I've done it, don't want to do it. Don't do things I don't want to do. I'll do things I don't want to do for a period of time to get to something that's good,
Mhm.
because that's the process. But I'm not going to do it for the sake of doing it
Yeah.
because someone else says, well, you should do it for these reasons. Like, that sounds like you and your problems.
Yeah. Well, and
Sounds like
that's
something
badge
going
of
on over there.
honor, and those are things that are important to chase early on, and you got to say yes to everything. Like those are all important steps, but you got to know when to tap the brakes. And like mental health is the buzzword and everything that gets pushed around these days. But like for real, man, if you're upset and you're miserable and you're not happy, you're doing it wrong. Whatever
Yeah.
it is. If it's your marriage, you're doing it wrong. Marriage is supposed to be great. If your marriage sucks, you're doing it wrong. If your
Yeah.
career sucks, you're doing it wrong. If your kids suck, you're doing it wrong. Like whatever the thing is, eh, you should be enjoying it. Life is meant to be enjoyed,
Yeah.
So I just try to paint that as much as I can in everything that I'm doing. Which is why, I don't know, it's funny that like I love metal and horror and all this like depressing, dark, brutal shit, but like I find joy in everything. I can find if I'm watching a movie that's like, oh, this is getting too scary, I'll just look at like, how did they light this? I wonder where at some point someone yelled, cut. And then all right, everyone rap, and they had to pull the intestines out. All right, Bob, hey, this is coming out. Can you tape this down? Like they're all just fucking around. They're all having a good time.
Yeah.
You can find the joy and the fun in almost anything, as long as it's, fake. And that's what I like about, music, movies, it's all fake. It's not real. I didn't actually kill the sheriff. You know what I mean? Like I've sung that hundreds of thousands of times in front of millions of people over 30 years. No one's ever tried to put me in prison.
Yeah.
I'm not, what's the word? Confessing to anything,
Yeah.
but it's a weird song. Why can you sing that? I don't know. Why can Stephen King write the shit he writes? Because it's not real. We're having
Yeah.
fun.
Oh.
Fun. Have fun. Shit
Ah.
breaking or what?
Yeah. It's just, for some reason, just stopped recording. But you know what? Hold on a second.
No, it's all right. Just keep going.
And no, it's just stopped recording the audio. Now we're recording again.
Yeah,
But
that's all right.
but yeah, honestly, but I think this is a good place to stop anyway. We're at time, and these are the things that I want to be able to talk to you about, because music and life have no choice but to coexist when you do this. If your music's good, your life can be good, and if your life's good, then it bleeds into your music and it keeps creating this cycle. You'll feel when you're having a good life, you'll hear it in your music, and that's why when you listen to Kurt Cobain's last recordings, you're like, yeah, he was in pain.
Yeah,
Something was wrong.
John Lennon. I read
Like-
the news today. Oh boy, right?
Yeah.
yeah. You can hear that.
You can
Sidebar.
hear
Hold on.
people,
Did you?
yeah.
I did not learn this until 2 days ago. There is a boy who's been born recently. Is the son of Riley Hawk and what's Kurt Cobain's daughter?
Oh,
I don't know her name. They got married a
forget
couple
her
years
name.
ago. They just had a kid. That boy's
Yeah.
has two grandfathers. One is Tony Hawk. The other is Kurt Cobain.
Jesus.
I don't know why. That just hit me like, holy shit, dude. That guy's got the two craziest grandpas in the world. I don't know why. That just sounds absolutely nuts. I derailed your point.
That's going to be interesting watching him grow up.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, listen, before we got to do glorified, we got to do a drop. So We got the VIP set, the first official live event. Call it a VIP. If you're on my side, we're calling it the first What Music They Make live from the studio, the Deadbeat Studios over in Vegas. I'm going to be there next week. It is November 8th. It's going to be 5 p.m. It's a Saturday afternoon. You got bundles available, tickets, links are in the bottom. Go and grab it. It's going to be super cheap. It's at a very low price. We'll be raising the price next year once it's off the ground, but you can basically be here at the ground level. And we don't know exactly what we're going to do. We may have a drummer, we may not. We're going to be doing our songs. We'll write songs. We'll play some puppy stuff. We'll make some shit up. We'll play some lockdown songs. We'll do some covers, whatever it is. Yeah, we'll do everything. And also the merch is up. So for everyone who's been asking about hoodies and t-shirts, click the link. They're there. You can get them right now.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I want to bring up, there's 2 episodes ago, which at least currently, maybe in the future we'll fix this problem, but there's one episode, episode 5 is missing from Spotify. Spotify won't publish it. They published it initially, and then they took it down. Shim, do you know why they took it down?
Why?
It's because it has the song Stowaway in it. Which is like, well, we have a whole bunch of other episodes with Stowaway in it, but it's like, no, we own this song. I like, you can arbitrate it, and I sent it.
Hold on a second, wait. You told me to take care of this, and I totally forgot. Isn't that right? You told me to deal with it, and I've totally
no, not to deal with it, but you had to like do something with the email address, and you said you did.
Oh yeah, no, we did that. Yeah. Sorry.
So now we're just waiting to hear back from Spotify, and I don't know if it's going to keep happening because like technically what's happening is we're getting not demonetized, we're getting pulled off of that platform only because you're not allowed to have cover music in your podcast. Well, it's not a cover song. We own it, right? So like I, did everything to prove it, and we'll see what happens. But so I just want to let everyone know that might be happening again. I don't know. We don't have any control over it. So we'll do the best we can. In the meantime, the show is always on YouTube. And it'll be ad-free on the Patreon. So no matter what, you'll always get to hear the show on Patreon. YouTube and Spotify might take some of them down in the future, and then they'll come back. Who the hell knows? I mean, I really don't know. It's not up to us.
Not to mention all the pre-rolls and the all the outtakes, all the stuff that we're not allowed to post.
Sure,
be up on the
there's
Patreon
a bunch of other extra behind-the-scenes stuff and ton of shit that we're going to be putting on the Patreon. But just so you guys know, if you want to know, the show is always on Patreon. It might not always be on Spotify and some of the other places. They're kind of picky with what they're going to let us do. So I'm just making a general announcement. Yeah.
All right. Was there anything else we had to go over?
No, man. You'll be here in 6 days, and we're going to make some music. We got like 3 or 4 songs we're going to try to crush through with Chris Reeve from Avril Lavigne, with Keenan McBurney from BTS. Is there anyone that you're bringing with you?
I got to piss, man. I'm busting. I'm either going to piss and you roll it down, or we got to stop.
That's good.
You roll it.
We'll see you in a few days.
Okay, we'll see you in a few days. I got to go. Oh, so far. Okay, hold on. Bye.